Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Good morning, everybody. We have a session today. It's an exploration of the spiritual, which gives us deep inner nourishment. But before beginning, let's just have a quiet minute or two together, and then we'll get underway. Firstly, a couple of points that George mentioned just now, and one is the upcoming sessions soon with the exploration of aging, and would like to encourage people to take a real interest regardless of your age, because we are all aging. Everything which is around us and everyone is aging there. And this relationship to aging and end of aging, death, is a deep and important exploration. And Sophie, the person who is offering, has a wealth of experience in working with others in Switzerland. Do connect if you have the opportunity and the time. Secondly, with regard to the donations, when George was just speaking just then, short memory came up. I think I was teaching in California, and one person, after offering the donation, after my giving the donation talk, 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the retreat, came up to me and said, "I just don't know what to give or how much to give." And as teachers will say, whatever you give is really, really welcome. He says, "Well, please tell me, Christopher, just what should I give?" And I said to him, "The upper limit of your American Express card would just do fine. Thank you. I can make really good use of that." He smiled, and whatever he gave, he gave. All right. So with the yesterday, the short reflection there, and I'm just looking at the notes once again. We explored change and the application of change, of the witnessing of it, understanding it, but also change which comes to us, which we appreciate, don't appreciate, hardly notice, but we live in the dynamics of change, and seeing what ways we can implement it. And in this case, the encouragement was, between yesterday and today, is there a change that you and I could initiate, could get underway? And so for myself, yesterday, I had a one-to-one meeting and lasted for 2 hours, and to initiate new and fresh ways of working in terms of outreach there. So, and that was a real priority. It's very supportive of the person who's going to cooperate with me, and that's an initiation of change to serve, shall we say, the larger Sangha. With today and the spiritual, The time, as previous days, falls into the three primary areas: the guided meditation, 1; the short talk, 2; questions in the question box, or I'll check with the chat box as well. And George sent me over yesterday a couple of questions which I didn't have the opportunity to respond to, and I'll endeavour today with that. Don't hesitate to put questions in. Anything which you initiated yesterday, anything which you started, which you feel would be beneficial, short and long term for oneself and others, please include that. Gives other people ideas. There hasn't been a flood of responses, to put it mildly, with regard to the invitations with the homework and giving us a little response to see. Who knows? We've got today and tomorrow. All right, let's have the quiet minute or two together, then to follow with the guided meditation. So we are just sitting. We are sitting in the stillness and in the silence with the tall, upright body. There is the practice of activity, of doing. There's also, and equally as important, the practice of non-doing. Right now, this is the practice of non-doing. Of the whole being having the opportunity to rest in the silence, in the stillness. This experience is deeply important for human beings. There is a cost in the neglect of non-doing. doing, busy, 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 will inevitably, without exception, lead to suffering, lead to neglect, lead to being out of touch with oneself and others through the addiction to doing. A person who says, I haven't got time for this, whatever, meditation stuff, or this mindfulness, or for just being, this person has an addiction. It's a mental health problem. Do you have this addiction? So we sit. We experience the immediacy of life. Free, beautifully free from making demands on it. Clear signals of habitual, addictive, problematic behavior. So we can, pardon me, bring the calmness of just sitting, just being, just a human being. Bring that calmness, this calmness, into the activity of body, speech, and mind. Activity of our relationship to the world. when we are free from this repetitive, blind, habitual doing, we know at any moment we can just stop. Just sit. Just quietly walk. Just experience. Just being. Even for a few moments for the renewal. So our life can move in a wise and healthy direction. Rather than in the direction of suffering, pain, ill health, loss of trust, self-doubt. In our silence of the being, there is a receptivity. Something we might say spiritual, meaning not of the world of praise and blame, doing and getting and success, having and losing. A different way of relating. And therefore the mindfulness, the meditations become a resource, one of the ways of access to what we might call non-consumerism, we might call something spiritual. this renewal of reconnecting with the being. Sometimes only requires a minute or two. It has a quiet power to it, especially when remembered on the daily basis. Do you have the power to interrupt purposefully the doing mode of mind? Through receptivity to stillness, silence, sitting tall with dignity. Without this renewal, we are lost. Wandering rather aimlessly and pointlessly from one thing to another with a mindset that's problematic. So we recover our power to integrate being and doing. Mutually supportive. Not one at the expense of the other. Okay, thank you for lending an ear.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.